Okay. Okay, so we're live. So this is the we're going to do some more training for SSS Offroad, and we're talking about the Photoshop files. So you've already cut them out and masked them, and they're saved as PSDs. But PSDs are really big files, and one of the things you can do is you can save them as a compressed file, a PNG. PNG documents retain transparency. So just make sure it's a blank background, and then go File, Save As, and save it as a PNG, and those should be smaller, about the same size, maybe a little bit bigger than a JPEG. But and then those are things you can probably just email those to me.
Okay.
So let me download the Premiere project. And you save those 4 files as PNGs, and then we'll import those PNGs into our project.
There are actually 5, but all right.
Okay, cool.
Ready, go. So it asks for compression, so I'll pick smallest / slow, and then interlace none.
Right.
Okay.
I'm opening up the Premiere project right now.
Okay. It felt like there was just, like, I don't know, it's probably fine, but just a few more situations where, like, what he was doing was kind of covered up by his hand, and I kind of just had to get creative with making it possible that they could see what was going on. But I think it's similar to last time, kind of rough maybe, but
Okay, no problem. Let's take a look at it. We might need to change our shooting angle next time.
yeah, I was thinking that I would want to next time, like, hopefully they're okay with it, just kind of doing 2 takes in 2 different angles. It would make, I think it would just make it look a lot better, and it would take a little longer to shoot it, but not that much longer. And so it would just give us more options there. The end result, I think, would look better.
Yeah, you know, the guys I shot with before were really, really accommodating. And I think one of the reasons is because they had been trying to shoot their own videos, and they knew how much work it was and how bad it sucked. And so when I came, they were just happy to let me do it. And Alex seems a little bit less patient with it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's probably because he hasn't had to do any of this, and so we are a disruption to his normal work process, you know. And so I'm sympathetic to that, and I'm not bugged by it, but it doesn't make it super easy.
I guess maybe if we just spelled it out at the beginning, maybe explained why it's necessary, and he might not really care, but I totally know what you mean.
Yeah, I'm sure you noticed. Okay, I synced all the files. I found them. Next time, I'm sorry, when I import them, I'll just name them correctly, so they're not called untitled. But
okay,
I'm okay with it right now. All right, cool. So you cut them into pieces. into sections like this. Good. Did you do one complete one yet?
No.
Okay, that's all right.
Kind of like last time.
Okay, let's take a look at them. Remove old skid. Have a little break in there.
Yeah, if it was kind of jumping to something else, I'd put a little break in it, but most of them don't have that.
That's okay. It can leave us room for titles too. Okay, good. Remove old skid. Now, you had all the paperwork, right?
Yeah.
So did you just kind of follow those steps?
I did yeah, pretty much on all of them. A couple of them didn't, I don't know, they didn't really, I don't know. It was also, I was anxious to get done, I guess, I don't know. But they didn't seem to totally coincide with one of the steps. I know that they were in the general, like, process in between what was before and after it. But I put a number next to almost all of them.
I see that, yeah.
That was pretty much exactly the step that was on the notes. And I figured it wouldn't be hard to kind of figure out what the other step, the real step that the ones without a number went with. So I just didn't worry about it at the time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Nice. These are looking pretty good. All right, so yeah, you're showing where it drills and taps. We'll add some drilling and tapping video in there.
There we go.
And he goes through. So you just, I see, you just cut where he's tightening the entire skid. You just kind of did quick cuts between each of the bolts and just showed
Yeah,
how
I
he's
didn't really
tightening.
see any benefits. Well, it would be way too long had I not done that. And I figured even with it the way it is, we might want to speed it up a little bit.
Yeah, totally. And you just cut the, okay, so good. Hold the nose piece in place. Yeah, I think this is looking pretty good. I'm not seeing anything where he's, I think on the nose there was a couple parts where he might have been in the way. It just kind of looked to me like where the camera was and where he was. But that's looking all right. Nose piece, let's look at this. Okay. We got our hardware. Holding that in, good. Front arm guards. Arm guards are a bitch to put on.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just show them how and then let them figure it out.
Yeah, like they know what they need to do. It's just, you know, what's the point of telling them it's hard? Like they'll figure it out.
Yeah, they definitely will. And they will be pissed. I don't see a whole lot where I feel like they're covered up. So yeah.
Yeah, I felt okay about how I was able to get it. A couple of them were kind of out of sequence, but I don't think you can tell.
There's a couple of these shots. So I just remembered something on this camera. It shoots 1080, but it's not 1080p, it's 1080i. And this is something we dealt with a few times early on, but since we started using the Black Magic at Experticity, we didn't really deal with it again. But you can actually change that to progressive if you remember up in the sequence settings. So I'll show you how to do that, and then you can do it on yours. Okay, I just got another email from you. Two more, I guess, actually, huh?
Yeah, I have to send them individually.
Oh, I see, because they're still too big.
Yeah, you can almost get two on each email, but not quite.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I'll wait for the rest of those.
Three more.
Okay, when you're done with that, then I'll show you how to change the interlacing. Just got another one.
Okay, they're all set.
Okay, cool.
What is really scary is I think that they know this is still the build piece. And if you show it here, well, so we would secure around to
What is that? Is that my voice?
we'll leave a little bit.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, wow. Huh, what? Huh. I had a couple of our sessions on YouTube up, and they randomly just started playing.
Started playing. Okay. Let's see. Okay, screen share. Okay, right? So can you see this?
I can, yeah.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll come up here. So you just select each of them in the timeline. You could also do it by selecting them in the project window, but it's easy. We'll just do them in the timeline here. And you go up to sequence settings, and change it from 1080i. We will change it here to 1080p. And that warns us that it will delete the previews we've created if we've created any, and that's okay. And then it sets these to red, that they actually need to render now because it is actually interlaced footage. But this will prevent us from, when we export now, so if I push Control M to export, then it'll prevent us from exporting an interlaced. See right here now it's progressive.
Okay.
During export, and that's good because a lot of like online things like Vimeo and YouTube, it doesn't like interlaced footage. So we'll just go through to each of these and change the sequence settings to 1080p. The drawback will be that before it plays, well, no, it should play just fine even though it's not technically rendered yet. It plays just fine as a preview. So it will add maybe a little tiny bit of time to our render times on it, but that's okay. It's worth it. There's another way to do this, because what we're doing is basically what we're doing is we are forcing the sequence to view it, to change it to interlaced footage. There's another way to do it. You can actually go through, so watch my screen again for a sec. Okay, so here on this number 9, I'm going to show you an example. What you can actually do is you can select the footage. The problem with this is you have to do it for each clip individually, but it's actually probably the more proper way is you can go up to field options. So you right click on a clip and go up to field options, and you can always deinterlace. And you need to go here, always deinterlace, field options, always deinterlace. And what that does is that instead of forcing the entire sequence to deinterlace, it actually deinterlaces these frames or these clips. But in order for it to, let me see here, for it to export, see, you still have to change the sequence up here. You might actually yield a little bit of a slight improvement to quality if you were to do that first, but maybe not even. I don't know. Anyway, a couple of different ways to do it. Like most things, there's several ways to do something. But that would be the way you do it if, for example, if you had a sequence mixed with footage from different cameras and one camera was interlaced and one wasn't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. So go through and change all those to progressive. All right, that's good.
So what? I guess what should I have done in the first place to make it so we don't have to do that?
Nothing. You have to do that.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's the step to do it.
All right.
Yeah. My camera does not shoot 1080 progressive. It shoots 1080 interlaced. So there's nothing we could do. That's just what we got to deal with. That makes sense?
Yeah.
It shoots 720 progressive, and I was thinking we might want to edit at 720, but I'm looking at the composition of these, and the reason is because this being a warehouse, there's kind of a lot of like extra stuff. So like, for example, if we edit this at 720, if you look at the screen here, it would enable us to get in a little tighter right here and like not have this, but it doesn't really bother me. You know, like, you know, we just have some of this on the edges here. And if we come up to sequence settings and go instead to 720p, what happens is, see, now we're still at 100%. We're still looking at it at 100%, and it allows us to crop in a little bit. But the drawback to that is if we had filmed something kind of down low, like I can't really see what he's doing down here, so we'd have to move the clip, position it up a bit. See, right about maybe there, you know, so we can see how he's putting it on.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was thinking, and it's kind of a cool little cheat that allows you to zoom in closer to something if you. So when I did that little macro film I did, where I shot everything in macro, I shot it in 1080, and I shot it as close as I could, and then I edited it in 720 so I could get in even closer to the subject. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a neat little trick, but I don't think we're going to do it this time. Okay, yep, that's 1080. All right. Okay, yeah, I just don't think we need to. I think it, you know, like this shot in particular, where is it? Where were we? A couple. Oh, yeah, see how this, we just have kind of the stuff in the background, but this is what we're shooting anyway, so it's okay. All right. Cool. We'll leave it at 1080. All right. So after we do that, what we need to do is get everything in order. And did you edit them in the order they need to go up?
I think so. Almost all of them, if not all of them. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I wasn't sure what we wanted to do with the rear skid and the front arm guards, though. Those might be out of sequence, but the other ones are, I believe.
The rear? Are those the rear guards? Or is that the tail skid? It's not. No, that's the tail skid's number 2. Oh, so it's the rear. It's the rear arm guards, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Or it might have been like those last 2.
Yeah, I see them. You didn't put them in sequence. That's okay. We'll add them on the end. I think they provide an option where you can buy just the skid or the skid plus the arm guards. And so what we'll do is we'll just add the arm guards onto the end in case they decided to buy those.
Okay.
Okay. The part I don't see yet is kind of like the intro piece where we show the thing pull in and
Yeah.
then like some beauty shots. So that's okay. Let's put those in. Okay. So let's find that footage. Should be near the end. Okay, cool. This is another place where maybe we can crop in a little bit because I didn't know I was in the shot there. Okay, and Honda, cool. He pulls in. Nice. Okay. All right, let's do this. Kind of industrial. It doesn't look too wilderness or cool, does it?
No, not a great background.
So let's not dwell on it too much. Let's start just before he pulls in. Okay, new sequence. And this one we will, we'll just call it what? We're going to call it SSS Off-Road Skid Install Honda 1000 Pioneer. Okay. They can change the title if they want to. Okay, so here we are. So here's the sequence. We got that. Nope. Yep, don't want the... We don't need the audio on there. Okay. So are you going to edit along with me, or you want me to just edit this and then send it to you?
I don't care. I can do it.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit of black video before this, and we'll have their logo crawl come up right before it. So I have an animated version of their logo. So let's create some black video. In Premiere, you do that by clicking on the new item and black video. And it will set itself to 1920 by 1080. That's what we want. We'll drag the black video down here. Let's do it about 3 seconds. So we got black video, and then this. And we'll put a transition on it, a dip to black transition. So as that guy pulls up, there it is. Set it to 1080p instead of 1080i. Okay. All right. And then let's get a couple of clips of the close-ups. The Honda logo. I'm going to cut just before the light passes across it. I'm going to cut it to, I'm going to start right before the light passes and then cut it right after it does. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And on this one, I'm actually going to zoom in a bit. I think we'll export it. Here's what let's do. Let's just edit it in 1080, and that's fine. And then we'll export it in 720 because this will permit us to zoom in a little bit here and there, but which will pixelate the image a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then we export at 720 and it should look just fine, as long as we don't zoom more than 150%. I'll go to 150. Okay, so let's start over a bit more. Whoa, slow down there. Okay, so when the light passes over it, that looks really cool. And we got the headlights staring at us. That looks cool. I like that. It's a tiny bit pixelated, but if we were to look at it full screen, you can see it's a little bit pixelated. I don't know if you can see that. But when we export at 720, it'll look really sharp. Okay, let's add a cross dissolve to that. The light passes over it. Honda. And let's get the last one where you get the name of this here. Yeah, that looks cool. Right, that's where it will end. And I'll go right to here. Okay. Same thing, let's zoom in a bit. So you click on it, then you twirl down motion, and we'll zoom into 150. It looks like it's pretty well centered. Yeah, that looks cool. And we'll do a cross dissolve on it. Okay, so that's kind of how our intro is going to go. I'll save the project. And then what we'll do is we'll go into the instructions. First off, we will show the skid. So first thing we'll do is show the skid. And we'll have a little title, and we're going to use Black Video for that again. So I'm going to go to just 3 seconds of Black Video. Duration 3. You see how I did that?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to
actually just. Oh, I'm just watching you here because you're doing I don't know. I did this a lot last night. It's kind of nice to just see you do it.
Okay. Yep. No problem. Yeah, and then that's why we're recording it. You can go back and watch it. Okay, so I did cross dissolves between these images, but when we're coming from Black Video, I'm doing dips to black. Technically, if I did a cross dissolve on a dip to black, it should be the same thing. See, this is a dip to black transition. If I cross dissolve to black, I think it still acts like a dip. Yeah, because it's crossing with Black Video. So same thing. Anyway. Okay, then right here we'll have a title come up that says main skid install, or we're gonna show them all the skid pieces they get. And then, did you see that WeTransfer file I sent you?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Okay, so look in your email. You should see an
Okay.
email from me.
I looked for. Oh, that wasn't there before. Here it is. All right,
Okay, I'm gonna download these.
so I'll download it.
Download. These look really good. You did a good job cutting these out.
Thanks.
Is this the wing?
Yeah,
The side? Okay.
and it's exactly the same as the other side, right? So you
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I think the holes are in the same place. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. So what I did, Daniel, is I put those in a folder in the Honda Pioneer folder called Assets. That's where I put those images. And I'm going to put these ones you cut out in that same folder. That's how I like to organize it. I like to have the folder organized, as you can see here. 2016, this is the video content. The autosave is automatically created. Assets or anything else I'm adding to it that are not video. You know, like, so I put backgrounds in here, motion graphics, still images, and music all in assets. I guess if I had a lot of audio, I would probably create an audio folder. So, okay, so these are the these, he said he wanted these included in the video. So we'll just show them everything they should be getting here. Yeah, these look really good. Nice. You got it. Okay. Close that. So I just have a little bit of black video here, so we can do that, and we'll just right here we'll have a title cut up that says contents. Contents. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is we need to show the skid as it comes. And because our skid is black, I'm going to put this against a white background. So in Premiere, I'm going to come in here and create a new color matte. You can create black video. You can't create white video. What you can create is you can create a color matte. And it tells you your size. I'm going to leave it at its default size. I'm going to set it to white. In fact, I'm just going to actually go just a slightly gray, just a very light gray. I'll call it light gray matte. Okay, I'll put that down. Okay, if you ever get so that, like, see how it snaps here, snaps in place? Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
That's a feature that can be turned off and on. If you're ever editing, and sometimes I am, and I don't know why it's turned off, you can go up to, I think, clip, maybe sequence. Yeah, so see snap is turned on here. The shortcut for that is S. If you ever get so that it's not snapping, you can just press S and it should snap.
Can you do the same thing by clicking the magnet looking icon on the left side of that window that you're in there? Like right there, yeah.
Yep, that's snap. I didn't know that, but that's cool.
Yeah, cool.
Yep, snap. You taught me something, man. Cool. Awesome. Won't be the first time. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll list contents right here. And so I'm going to put a little marker to remind me what I want my title to say, contents. And then I will have these images come in. So, all right, I'm going to create a new bin. Bins are folders. They just call them bins. That's old throwback to linear editing. to the film days where you would place stuff in bins. Yep. So, okay, stills. We'll get this and this and this and this. All of that. Okay, cool. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to show the skid that comes with it. So main skid. I'll close this down. All right, so the main skid, we know that comes. And we're going to scale it down. So to do that, man, this is a lot easier to do in After Effects. Yeah, I think we'll do that in After Effects. Let's just assemble about what we need here. I'm not sure exactly how long this needs to be, but here's kind of why I do the timing. Okay, so this is 5-second mat. And the reason that the mat I created is 5 seconds, and it also happens to be the exact same length as the still I just brought in. See that? Do you see that? How this still and this mat, which I created, are both exactly 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
If you right click on them, duration is 5. The reason is because my preferences are set to still image default durations are 150 frames. Okay. And then video transitions default to 30 frames or 1 second. So that's why all of these are exactly 1 second. See? So that's how that could be changed. I've changed my mind. I don't think I want to do stills in here. It's just so much easier to do in After Effects. So what we'll do is we'll just create the background here. So we got 5 seconds there to show the stills. I'll put another mark, or the plate. So I'm going to put another marker here. So show main skid. I'm going to call the main skid everything. I'm just talking about the main skid about, well, I'll just say entire skid. Entire skid. Show entire skid. So that's both wings, the nose, tail, and main. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll have 5 seconds where we show that. And then let's show the tools. We'll get another. Oh, you didn't cut out the tools yet. I think we have a photo of that. We'll get another light gray mat. Put that down.
Oh yeah.
It's okay. I haven't cut out the hardware yet either, so that's something we can do offline. Okay. Name. Show tools. I'm going to stretch this one out a little further. I think everyone knows they're getting the skid, but it might be useful for them to have about 10 seconds or so to see the tools required. I'm going to make it to 8 seconds. Okay, so 8 seconds to see the tools. That's tools required, and then show box contents, which he asked I show. Light gray, which, let's see. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 images. Let's give him each 3 seconds. So we'll add another gray mat here, mark it, show box contents. These ones here, I'm actually going to change the color of them because they're not titles. So these are just yellow callouts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Wait, what do we got? Show entire skid. Show tools. Show box contents. Why did I put 2 down? I don't think I need this one. I'll make this 15 seconds. Okay, so about a minute into it is where we'll actually show the assembly. Okay, then with that, I'm going to put the black video back in. We will set it to 3 seconds. And I'm going to add a title. This is step 1. Remove factory skid. Okay. All right. And you have that in remove old skid. There we go. So you start by comparing these two. I'm going to actually do that after they take it off. I'm going to show them take it off. Remove the old skid. All right, good. So we'll just copy these, Control C, come back to our old skid here. I'm going to note that another title. Factory skid comes in 2 pieces. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
You have an upper and lower piece. Okay, good. And then I will note how much thicker the new skid is. Note how much thicker the SSS off-road skid is. Cool little feature. Okay, next step is install the tail skid. So we will add more black video. And what I did is rather than pulling the black video down here and changing the duration, I just grabbed this last one that's already 3 seconds and copied it. And then I pasted it over here. Okay, and we'll do another little quick cross dissolve. This one I only want to be about 12 frames. Okay, so this one is install tail skid. Oh, we need to note that they need to keep all of the factory hardware. Did we shoot footage of him showing the factory hardware? Oh yeah, we did. Later when he installs it, he'll use that factory hardware, right?
Yeah.
Did you get a picture of that where he shows it?
No, I don't think so.
Keep factory hardware. Okay, write that down. Let's make sure we get that. I mean, we have a title here, but it'd be nice to have it. Okay. So, quick little. Okay. So the next one is install tail skid. Install tail skid. And let's get that one. So remove old skid, we're done with that. Let's go to tail skid. Okay, let's watch it quick. So he does, he shows there, he's showing factory hardware. Let's stretch that out a little tiny bit, just so we have room for a title, so they can both see and read the title. .3 seconds. Okay, I think we can overlap. We'll kind of overlap that title over this piece here, right? So is it just coincidence that I happened to lengthen this exactly?
That's what I was thinking.
I was like, what? And then I noticed they're both the same.
That would be a crazy coincidence.
I think it is, dude. It doesn't look like a jump cut at all. There might be a couple of frames there. Oh yeah. It's real quick.
Barely.
All right, what let's do is let's just do this. Okay, good. Okay, so that makes that clip long enough for us to say use factory hardware. Yeah, he shows it. Good. Okay, so let's copy those and we'll come back to our main sequence. There we go. I want to make it look nice with the transition, but I don't want to cover up where he's going here, so I'm going to make it a real short transition. So I'm just going to make it 12 frames again. That should be good. Yeah, good. Okay. So there installs the tail skid. He kind of shakes it a little bit, right? See that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good. Let's see how much more we have of that. Okay, let's show him do it, and then let's. Okay, so he shakes it, and then let's do a title. Oh, first. Use factory hardware to install tail piece. Let's kind of start creating some vocabulary. Let's stop using the term piece. We'll just say skid. I think I used them interchangeably before. Okay. And then here he jiggles it, and then right there. Okay. Secure, loosely for now. Okay. Good. Next piece is main skid, right? Is that? Do you have your sheet in front of you? I don't have my sheet. I could grab it off the copier. One sec.
I do have it. Yeah.
Okay. Tail skid, loosely bolt existing holes in the skid. Yep. Good. Because if they have both this and the video and the okay, next. Lift the main center panel in place and loosely attach it using existing hardware. Okay, so they've already established they don't say piece, they call it panel. Lift the main center panel in place. Okay, so next is the main skid. Yeah, good. So tail skid, we can close this. Main skid. All right, let's watch through it real quick. So yeah, he lifts that in place. The notes are using existing bolt holes. Good. Are those all of the existing bolt holes, or does he do more?
No, I think that's it. It is it, yeah. Because it was just that T shape.
Yep, that's it. So see what I did there is I double-clicked this in the timeline. If you do that, if you double-click something in the timeline, it opens it up here in the monitor window, or in the source window, and it just shows just its in and out points. But you can expand this and show those in and out points are part of this larger sequence. See that? So I just did that so I could check and see. Nope, he's done. That's it. Okay, cool.
It's kind of nice.
That is nice. If I guess once you've done it, you have to manually zoom back into it, but no problem. Okay. Okay, so there's the main piece. Great. We will copy it over. We are. We will add some quick 12-second transitions or 12-frame transitions. Relativity. Dude, 12 seconds seems like such a tiny time, but 12 seconds like in a web video is an eternity. Okay, next. So this title should read Install Main Skid. So what let's say is using factory hardware. I'm going to do this as separate titles. Using factory hardware secure skid into factory holes. Okay, and then they see him do it. I kind of want to show a place where we illustrate. Do you remember how I circled which ones were factory holes and which ones had to be drilled and tapped?
Uh-huh.
Where's a good place in the video to show that? Should we do that before they have to drill and tap? Should we kind of say, this skid install will require some drilling and tapping. These skid holes all use factory holes. The rest need to be drilled and tapped. Should we do that before, or should we do that when we get to the drilling and tapping? It seems more logical.
Yeah, I would say probably before the drilling and tapping. So that's when they would have to worry about it, right?
Okay,
so.
yeah. I mean, ideally, they should watch the entire video before they start the install. So, okay. So at least look at the info. Okay, cool.
And were you thinking just to show the main skid and just like circle where the factory?
Yeah, exactly. I think what we'll do is we will assemble all of the skids on screen at once in After Effects, and then we'll just kind of highlight where the factory holes are and show that the rest need to be drilled and tapped. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's the main skid. Main skid. That's step 3. Next, lift each side piece in place and loosely secure using bolt holes. You will need to use something to hold the outer edges up as they do not have factory mounting locations. Okay, so that's it. All the main pieces are in. Next step is, let's go main skid, turn it off. Side pieces. All right, let's see how you did this. I know I saw it. Where did you put the part where... Oh, here it is. So in our video, we have a person helping him, right? Holding it up over here. If they're installing on their own, they'd need to do this piece before. Okay, so you know what though? He did it after he put those bolts in.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't have someone helping them, they'll just need to do that before. Okay, that's all right. Let's do it the way you have it edited. And then what? You just show the other side.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we wanted to see both or not.
This one. Let's show just this side because that's the side we show in the next clip. And let's just lengthen this out a bit so that we see. Oh, that's why, because he had to loosen that.
Yeah, because he accidentally put in one of the factory, or one of the tap and screws, I guess. Like he did it wrong.
That's right. Okay, well, let's just show this other side then. Maybe we'll just show this side. We don't have to show both sides. Okay. All right, so main skid's there. Let's do a quick 12 frames. We should probably note that it should be secure loosely to have so the side panels can be installed. Okay, so this one is install side panels. So it goes in. How long is this? We're at 150 and it goes to 2. Okay, so that gives us 10 seconds. That's all right. So I'm going to start right here and say use factory hardware and holes. And then we're going to do a highlight. We're going to actually highlight this hole right here. No, this hole right here. And say this, you know, there's no hole here. It will need to be drilled and tapped. There is no hole in the frame here. It will need to be drilled and tapped. All right, I'm going to just talk through. So here's kind of what I was doing, right? So if I start this right, if I start that right here, I'm just going to play it. There is no hole in the frame here. It will need to be drilled and tapped. So I talked pretty slowly, which is maybe about the speed someone might read at, and that's good because I didn't get all the way through it. So I feel pretty good about that length. Do you see how I test that?
Yeah.
I just actually think about what I'm going to say. There is no hole in the frame here. It will need to be drilled and tapped. I think I'm going to say it'll be drilled and tapped later. Okay. Okay, next. So what you have is then you have this getting secured on and showing drilling and tapping. Those 3 holes need to be drilled and tapped. Okay. Oops. Got another black video here. Are you hearing the ghosts in the machine? I'm hearing that. What is that sound? It's not bothering me, but
What does it sound like?
it sounds like talking or music or something.
I don't know what that would be over here. I don't have anything open. Eerie.
Okay. So the next step we have is drilling and tapping, right? Yeah, this is drilling and tapping. Okay, so drilling and tapping. Let's get our light gray again. Okay, so I'm going to give us 8 seconds here again. Let's just go 10. Safe. So I'm going to show you something real quick on this. Maybe you already know this, but it took me a second to figure it out. When you go to duration, see it's listed in seconds, minutes, hours. This last one here is frames. So it's frames, seconds, minutes, hours. If you just press 10 and enter, it's frames. So if you want it to be 10 seconds, you have to add a semicolon after it. See?
Okay.
I think a comma might work too.
I think I've used a comma before.
Yeah, looks like it does. A colon, semicolon, comma, period probably would even work. Anyway, all right, so 10 seconds. All right, so we have 10 seconds here to kind of show the skid on. And here, I'm going to talk through that. All of these holes use factory holes. The rest of them need to be drilled and tapped. Okay, I talked pretty slowly. That's probably okay. They can watch it again if they need to and hit pause. It may feel a bit rushed. That's okay. Okay. So here we have another one, and I'm going to change the color. This is show skid with drill and tap locations. And then the title is these holes are factory drilled. The rest need to be drilled and tapped. Okay. Good. So then, okay, so for here, we're going to roll right into drilling and tapping. Now, I recorded that on other projects. Let me find it. Video. Here we are, drilling and tapping. Okay, so let me check. Why are you being difficult? That's bit conditioner for drilling and tapping. Let's see this. Okay, so good. He's showing the center punch. So we got center punch. Good, so that's a good center punch you did there. I'm going to, let's see. That is the center punch, that is the drill, and this is the tap. Good, okay. So center punch, drill, tap, and bit conditioner. I'm going to copy these. So in my SSS Offroad Master folder, I'm going to put a big capital assets. I'll copy those. So this one is bit conditioner. This one is center punch. This one is drilling. The last one is tapping. Okay, I'll get these files to you. I will send them in a WeTransfer. I'll do that right now, in fact. Add to archive. Drilling and tapping footage. That'll take a couple of minutes. Okay, so for me, I'm going to add drilling and tapping footage. You know what we'll probably do? Yeah, I've changed my mind on this. I'm going to create one single file of the drilling and tapping. And then I'll send you that, you know, because that'll be a lot easier to just insert that piece in. Remember. So let's do that right now.
Okay.
Assets. Okay, start with the center punch. We'll get this one here, which is, all right. So there, right where he puts it in place, right there, okay. Taps it, good, that's it. And he points at it. So center punched. Create a new sequence for this. Bit conditioner. All right. Drilling. We'll get him on the same hole. Yeah, here we go, right? Drilling. Look at that smoke coming off that.
Yeah.
That's why you condition the bit. And then tapping. Okay, so he tapped it. All right, here we go. So we got a little 30-second thing of drilling and tapping. Man, seems like a lot to add to the video, but we can actually probably speed this up a bit. We'll speed that middle piece up. So this is pretty cool. This is the rate stretch tool. So what happens is when you drag it, what it does is it's kind of like dragging your footage normally, but it actually just changes the rate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I did want to ask how you did that. That's easy. I like that.
The other way to do it is to right click and change the duration and then bring your footage in, you know? But that's the way to do it. That's the, so he tapped the center punch. Good. I guess I don't really need that second time reach it up there. Center punch out. That's good. Conditioned his bit. Drills. Now we're at mega speed. All right, a little bit of change in the lighting there. Let's bring up our exposure a bit. Sequence, window, color. Brighter, not so bright. I'll just raise my exposure a tiny bit. That feels pretty close. 2 maybe. Okay, that's not bad. Exposure 1.2. Exposure 1.2. Okay, there we go. We'll go back to editing. We'll do some color correction on our footage too, so I'll go into it a little more detail at that part. But right now, I just want to get this in. Okay, so all right, we're not going to call this center punch. We're going to call it drilling and tapping. Drilling and tapping SSS Offroad assets, drilling and tapping MP4. We'll cue that up. so it can export while we're working. Okay, cool. In the meantime, we'll just copy this over as it is. Okay, so our last notes are these holes are factory drilled, they're estimated to be drilled and tapped. Show skid with drill and tap locations. So we'll show that, and then we'll say, we'll have another piece of black video here. Okay, so here what we'll do is we'll say drill and tap all the rest of the holes. Drill and tap the rest of the holes. And then we'll show this footage of him doing it. The other thing I kind of wanted to do is zoom in a bit on this because it's a different skid. Nice. We'll let that start encoding. That's the difference between just exporting and setting it to the media encoder, because a media encoder can encode while you're still working. And it only uses, so mine is set to use both GPU acceleration and the processor, but it will only use resources that are not currently being used elsewhere. You know what I mean? So it would go a little faster if I turn everything else off, but it's not going to disrupt my editing while I'm rendering. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
And that's not true for all render processes. There's some like 3D render processes and stuff that are not like that. So anyway, okay. Tapped. Good. So we'll just say center punch first. Condition your bit. Maybe I should have burned those in to the file. Make it easier than having to do the titles every time.
Mm-hmm. So that will never change, right?
Yeah, it won't. I'm going to do that. We will replace this with, okay, I'm still going to put these where we want them. Here you go. I don't even really feel like we need to say anything there. I mean, it's drilling and tapping. It's not actually SSS's road, or it's not their job to tell people how to drill and tap. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Correctly. It's just kind of a nice thing to show it. But like if they don't wear safety glasses or if they break their tap or something because they're doing it wrong, it's not like they're liable. Anyway, okay. Drill carefully until you cut through. Drill carefully until hole is made. How would you say that? That's weird. Drill hole completely. Yeah?
Carefully drill hole completely.
There you go. Next. The tap will create threads for the bolts. Duh, but there you go. All right, there you go. We'll create those titles, and we'll just. Okay, this should be done now. I was going to send it to you, but we'll put the titles into it first. Okay, so the rest are drilled and tapped. Let's show directly right now the, let me close this. So here you show securing this side. Yeah, so this one is specific to this machine. Oops. Side panels. They say it in the instructions. With a bar clamp. You'll need to use something to hold the outer edges up. Hold edges of side panels with a clamp before you drill. Because after he puts the bar clamp up, then he shows with the tap, we're going to tap those 3 spots, or those 4 spots. Yeah, good. Okay, and we've already shown that those locations need to be tapped. So then you have what? Oh, then you have securing them. This is so they've already been drilled and tapped now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's put this into securing the rest of the tighten entire skid, right? So the next is tighten entire skid. You kind of see what I'm doing here?
Yeah, I do.
Just kind of go through the process, and I've got the 12 frames there. Tighten entire skid. Okay. So first thing we'll do is we'll tighten the sides. And then we will tighten the middle. So this is the one where you cut, but you're still thinking it's pretty long. Oh, it's
Yeah,
not
it's
that
just
bad. It's only 12 seconds. It's only 11 seconds.
okay.
Let's watch it real quick.
Felt like there's just a lot of holes, I guess, but went fast.
Okay, yep. Tighten the rest of the darn skid. Dude. Patriots lost, man.
Yeah. I don't know. The Broncos are so weird. Their defense is just that good, I guess.
I guess.
And Peyton Manning looked kind of decent.
They threw 2 touchdowns, so
I swear, I don't care what anyone says. They're ugly balls, and he's going to get demolished by Carolina.
oh, I cannot imagine. It's going to be just like when they played the Seahawks, dude.
It is. I promise it will be. And it will, even his touchdown, or some of his longer passes, they were so hideous. He just threw them up in the air, and the receiver jumped up and grabbed it. I mean, anybody could have thrown that ball.
You know, I was listening on 97.5 The Zone talk, and they were kind of saying, is it really possible to go out on top? And the only player I can think of that did was Barry Sanders, you know, but he didn't win anything, you know what I mean? But it's like, if you keep playing and trying to get that win and you're getting, you know, it's not really possible to go out on top, because otherwise you keep playing, you know, when you're at top, you keep going. So you almost always leave at like an inopportune time. Had Brady retired last year, I think he would almost, well, she's not going to retire, but he almost would have been considered shoe-in for best of all time. But now he's lost. I mean, Montana never lost in the playoffs. Now he's lost, what, 3 times?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to fault a guy for getting, you know, really getting deep into the playoffs and losing. I mean, he just, especially who he did it with, he's the only reason that him and Gronkowski, but he didn't even have them the whole time.
Right.
But, you know, John Elway retired after he won a Super Bowl. He wasn't at the top of his game, but he did go out after winning a Super Bowl, though.
Yeah, but his back was terrible and his arm just wasn't there anymore.
It was a little bit like this Broncos team.
Yeah.
The defense and the running back were good, but
dude,
yes.
Terrell Davis was awesome. Was it Terrell Davis?
He's my favorite Bronco ever.
Yeah.
The only one I really liked as a kid, in any part of my life, actually.
I mean, you didn't like Elway?
No. I mean, he's the Broncos, so I didn't like him.
Rivals.
And I didn't have any reason to like him. I mean, I know he was good, but I didn't especially find him to be likable or anything like that. I don't really know what it was about Terrell Davis, because he just was likable and he was really good. I just like running backs.
I do too. I just like running backs. That's what I was going to say. For me, it's just the fact that he was a good running back. I just think running backs are so cool. Okay, next is the nose piece, and it looks like, I can't remember, but these instructions are saying you got to drill and tap the nose piece last. Like, everything else has to be secured first. Put the nose piece in place and use small bar clamps to hold it there. The front nose requires all holes to be drilled. Okay. So, nose piece. Nose skid. Install nose skid. That's what we'll call it. Okay. Install nose skid. Dude, I bet you're stoked to get your camera. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I am. I'm excited. I've wanted one for so long. I mean, I have one that I bought, but that was probably 10 years ago now. And it stopped working.
Oh, really?
It was a fun camera, but nothing compared to this, obviously.
What we've been using, yeah.
Yeah.
And your new one, that should be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. It'll just be nice to, I don't know, it's just a fun thing to do. Just a hobby, but I also want to actually get better at it.
Yeah. Well, anytime you want to like borrow gear, you're welcome to, unless we're using it for something else. Okay. Let's just play through this nose thing and see if it makes sense as we play. We'll add titles after. Nose piece has to be secured with clamps. Then the whole thing has to be drilled and tapped. Good. We show that it all has to be drilled and tapped. Good. And then you install it. Yep. Was this an access hole? This middle one?
I think it was, yeah. I think so.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. Cool. All right, so hold in place with clamps. All of the holes for the nose need to be drilled. Okay, and then install the hardware for removing clamps. I guess. Duh. All right, that's it. Okay, so that's basically it, except for arm guards. Okay, copy, paste. Arm guards. Let's see it. Tube clamps. Put the tube clamps on the frame. So they line up with the skid holes. That's it. I'm just going to do arm guards. Okay. Put tube clamps on the frame so they line up with skid plate holes. Secure with button bolts and washers. Okay, and that's the front. And the same thing on the rear. Oh, you forgot. Oh, that's the rear of the skid. Did we even shoot the rear arm guards?
Yeah, we did.
Did you not?
Are they there? I thought I did those.
Side pieces, tail skid holes. Oh, tighten and touch. Front arm guards, rear skid.
I swear we have footage for that.
Okay, I think so. I think I remember you getting down there. Maybe we just didn't add it yet. We'll cut that in real quick. Okay, so this needs to be added here. Okay, so the back needs to be drilled and tapped too. Before the arm guards. So this is arm guards. Yeah, let's move this a bit. Down here. Oops. Arm guards, you go over here. Okay, so this one is finish tail skid. The back holes on the tail need to be drilled. Okay, good enough. So Super Bowl is in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks from
Yes, or Sunday.
Sunday.
San Francisco.
It is in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah. I remember reading about that. I read something kind of ugly about the Super Bowl. You want to hear?
what?
The Super Bowl is the international, it's like the highest incidence internationally of human trafficking every year.
Huh. Why?
I don't know if it's athletes or all of the fans that go, but there's just a lot of people that go, whichever city they're in.
Oh, just prostitution mostly?
Well, most of it's like international sex trade, not just prostitution, human trafficking, like people that are kidnapped and sold over and over. That's like the place where it's worst. Mostly it's massage parlors.
Very
And then
strange.
almost all of those massage parlors are people that are there against their will. My wife's niece got kidnapped in the Philippines, and
Okay.
they asked for a bunch of ransom, and the family, we were able to raise enough to get her out, but had they not, and they did, once we paid them, they sent her home. But she was going to go work abroad, and she landed in Indonesia, and instead of going to a job where everyone thought, she was taken to a hotel and put in a room with about 20 other girls.
That was horrifying.
Isn't that awful? Anyway, I thought it was weird. I was like, I'm not sure why. Why is it the Super Bowl every year? Except I guess the only thing is there's lots of money and there's lots of traveling.
It just seems so. I mean, I guess I am naive to think that America is not smack dab in the middle of the whole thing. It just feels like such an international thing because that's where they're getting the women. But
Yeah, but then they come here, and it's almost always their own country people that do it. It's like mostly it's Chinese people that run. Anyway, it's really, really ugly, but isn't that awful?
it's terrible.
Like, it really hit home when
Yeah, when was that?
Marianne got kidnapped. That was beginning of last year.
How much did they ask for?
About $5,000,
Wow.
which that's almost impossible for them to ever come up with on their own. They had to ask for help from us, and of course we did. Me and Benji and Mildred. But it's kind of scary because, well, anyway.
Well, it's scary because every time it works, it motivates them to do it again.
Right, and you don't know if they're really going to let her go. But what recourse do you have? They talked to the Philippines. The Philippines NBI is like their FBI, National Bureau of Investigation. Talked to their NBI, and they know about this company. They put warnings out there, but they're still sneaky enough to get through. And so Marianne thought she was signing up for a legitimate agency. Awful.
Is governmental corruption a big problem in the Philippines?
Huge.
Or,
it's just the worst.
Figured.
Oh man, this just goes on so long. Why is it hard for them to do?
Yeah, it's awkward.
It's gross and dirty too. We should have asked them to wipe it down.
Greasy looking. dusty.
Yeah, it's just dusty, and the light really really shows it off. Okay, we'll put a few titles up here to make this a little better.
Distract them.
The rear guard is, let's see, uses 4 clamps. This step is much easier with 2 people.
Well, I guess I would say like most of these clips felt like this in the way that they are drag on for so long because they kind of like fumble.
Yeah.
And that's really the biggest reason I started just cutting out, because there's so much time and like a strange amount of time in between things that they're doing.
Yeah.
It's nice if it was more fluid, it would be easier to do it that way. But
so let's do that. I think that's a good call. We got that one on there. We'll cut. Good. Cut. Just even that just takes so long for him to do that.
yeah, weird.
Yeah. I mean, it has its own unique challenges that, something that in a studio controlled environment where you're shooting green screen, you just don't have a lot of those issues,
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, that can get kind of boring, and this is much more dynamic and fun. You're crawling around on the ground and shooting cool stuff, and it's a little more relaxed,
Uh-huh.
But a lot more autonomy here too. I think that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, this just takes forever, huh? What's he doing?
There. Yeah, I heard something about, I'm sure this is the case in most cities, but I heard about it in Kansas City, and it's not surprising, really. It's still sick, but not surprising, that domestic abuse just skyrockets after a Chiefs loss on Sunday afternoon.
What?
Yeah. Like after they win, it's low. After they lose, it's really high.
Because they're just pissed at each other.
I mean, how stupid do you get? I just no
That's awful.
perspective on life whatsoever.
Okay, now let's just do some hero shots of the skid. It looks like you got some good ones. Okay.
Cool.
Oops.
Yeah, I thought I did that last one you did. I know, obviously I didn't, but I totally forgot about the hero shots. I just felt like I was done, I guess. It was
No problem. Let's get them. Okay. Admire your new skid. So did you watch through these yet?
No. I totally meant to, but didn't.
Yeah, that's cool. It kind of ends on the logo there, huh?
Yeah. I think the next one wasn't as shaky as that one.
That's a really, really crappy slider. Sorry about that. I need to buy a new one. It's kind of dusty too.
Yeah. couldn't really tell.
Yeah, you couldn't. We'll just have to remember to dust it down next time. Okay, let's try the next one.
Still
Can you-
looks good.
Can you see this okay?
Yeah. Wow.
Maybe we'll just use this last part where it comes in on the skid. But that's not too bad. We could use that and then reverse it. I just don't want to get where we have that dust. So let's go.
I wanted to make sure I tried to come back smooth so that we had that option.
Yeah, that was good. Good instincts.
I feel like one of them was a lot better than the others in shakiness, but
That one's not bad. Okay, we'll remember that. We'll look at what else we got. You probably can't hear it, but you just grumbled. You're like, eh.
yeah, because I feel like I'm good, and
And then it
just wobbles.
wobbles.
Yeah, the
Well,
track.
the other thing you forgot to do is forgot to set the legs. You can set the legs so that they're all on the ground. Okay.
Legs weren't on the ground.
You can adjust the height of each of the legs so that they are all solid on the ground. You know what I mean?
Huh.
On that slider.
Seems like it would have been. I don't know. Just like the head of it, like the actual
The head sucks.
just
Yeah.
wobbles a lot.
That's not bad. That's nice looking. Yeah, still needed a dusting. I like that. That looks really good.
Better idea of what it looks like.
So let's not show all of this. We'll start right here. Just before you stop. Nice. Got our hero shots, man. I thought you had a cool one. What's this? About the same thing. I like the last one enough.
Okay, brought down the ISO on that one a little.
Yeah, I think that was good. I think I like that better. Sharp looking skid. I can imagine someone being happy about having that on their machine.
Yeah, it makes it look so much more sturdy. And it is.
Yeah, it's just way better. It's okay. It's not in focus. Okay, so we're good. We'll do this, and then we'll cut to a close-up zoom of that, and fade to black. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's reverse this. Speed -100. Oh, actually, I forgot. There's a reverse speed checkbox here.
Oh, cool.
Cross dissolve. Cross dissolve. Cross dissolve. Let's watch that. Nice, looks good. Looks good. Okay, cool. Only other thing I kind of wanted to do before we leave here is check the exposure on some of these, because some of them shots that are next to each other they're okay. So good, we got that. That looks good. Yeah, this one's kind of dark. So, okay, so save my work, and I'm also going to file, save a copy, just in case. Save a copy is the same as doing a save as, except it doesn't keep you in the copy. It keeps you in the original, and it just saves the copy to the hard drive somewhere else.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So you can go up here to Window and change your workspaces to color. We're on editing right now, and there's a bunch of different ones, but I only go between editing and color. So we'll go to color real quick, and I think I sent you a video on Lumetri color, and that's just the way I learned it. I just learned it by watching that video, so it's really useful to watch it. If not, you can just Google or look up on YouTube Lumetri color basics, and it'll show you the whole thing. Search on Google, not YouTube, because I think it was actually on Adobe somewhere that I watched it. Anyway, it's pretty simple. Each of these add on to each other. So anything you do in basic color correction, then you go to the next step of creative. It retains all the stuff you did in basic, and then it applies creative, and it applies them in this order. So basic corrections are applied first, then creative, then curves. You can turn each of them off here. After you've applied a color, then what happens is it actually shows up under the effects controls here. So let's go in here and raise this exposure a tiny bit, make that a little brighter, and you can see that it has added Lumetri color under the effect controls. So if we go back out to editing, you'll see that under effect controls, there's your Lumetri color, and it has that exposure adjustment we made right there. See that?
Yeah.
So I like to go over to color editing just because I get the whole thing right here, and it kind of allows me to, isolate that a little more. So I need to assign the same color correction to this clip that I have to that one. There's a couple of ways to do that. I could just note which changes I made. However, if I had made a lot of them, it would be easier to just come in and grab this Lumetri color here and Control-C copy it, and come over here and under the effect controls paste it on that new one, and then we have the same color corrections on both of those. And that's good. Those look good, not too dark. And this is why I say it's better to underexpose than overexpose, because you can't really, there's a couple of places where his hand got real close to the light, see, like this, and it's just overexposed, and there's not a whole lot we can do about that. But if it's underexposed, we can always raise this exposure a little bit. Bringing exposure down, for example, on this doesn't really quite look as good. We can do it a little bit. Maybe let's go to -0.3.
It's kind of like it just makes the blacks darker and not really the whites darker.
So yeah, that's true. And what happens is you can actually adjust that here. So we can pull just highlights down.
Oh, okay, that's better.
Yeah, this is a really, really nice tool. Just highlights down. You can also pull just whites down, see? And then you can still adjust blacks, make the blacks brighter or whatever. Yeah, it's a really, really handy tool. And it's a really effective way to, let's pose that up a bit. Let's apply the same one we had here. Lumetri color here, here, there. The other thing that's nice in color editing mode, when you're on color here, is as you go through the timeline, each of these is automatically selected, which is handy.
Yeah, when you have 100 different ones, that does help.
Yeah, you don't have to zoom in and click on them to select them, which you normally have to do when editing clips in Premiere. Let's adjust this one up a bit. Exposure a bit. Okay, at least if clips next to each other look basically the same, I'm okay. We're in a, it's a very rough environment, you know. It's like it's a factory and a warehouse, and so we don't have a lot of control of the lighting and look, and so I don't feel like we need to be perfect on color correction. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It bugged me that he put that one on crookedly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't matter. But
And then they straightened, but the other one got crooked.
straighten it.
Well, speak up next time. That's one of the other things I noticed, and it's probably just because you hadn't done it before. But speak up next time. You know.
I think it more bugged me when I was just looking at the footage. Yeah, I should. I don't know. I guess I kind of noticed. I think it would. It's just a little different there, but yeah, I definitely need to just.
Well, you can, and the other one is like the other part is you know, there's so much you're doing at first that it takes a while to get used to noticing everything, you know.
That's true.
So, okay, let's make these look really sexy. Okay, let's see. Exposure down, highlights. There, that looks pretty nice. Dang, just too dusty. It's all right though. Boom. Cool. All right, I think our color correction is done. So what would normally happen here, I'm going to come over and talk to you for a sec. Stop screen sharing. Okay, so ideally, I would like you to be able to get that far into the process before you go into After Effects. And I realize After Effects is just going to take some time to learn. So so what we should do is we should try to get that far into the process so that we can go over into After Effects, and basically all we have to do now is add titles and add some of our stills, and then we're done. And we can export it and send it to them. But watch through that a few times next time we do this, or maybe even when you have a minute to just kind of watch it and learn it. Watch through that so that you kind of can learn and know that process. The cool thing is when we take this project over into After Effects, I think you remember this, all those little labels are still there. So it shares those labels between applications, and that makes it easy to add the titles and things that we need to do. So now we have a fully assembled clip that is color corrected. It looks good. Everything's in order. Now we have to go in and add those titles to it. So do you have any questions about the process we just did?
No, I want to do that. I want to have that ready if we need it next time, I guess. I want to be able to just do that all on my own, and I think I can, and this video will be great. But I understand the process well, and I like the the notes and just kind of visualizing all the steps, and it just I like it. It makes sense, and I think I can do it.
Dude, you're gonna be a real pro video editor after between everything we did at Experticity and everything here. Man, you can handle green screen. You can do. I'm going to teach you some simple motion graphics, but you can do at least some simple motion and titles. You got cuts. You got color correction. You're gonna be really good, man. And there's a lot of jobs out there. I know because I've been applying for them. So anyway, good, man. Okay, cool. I need to eat, so I'm going to take a break for some lunch, and then do you want to get back on after lunch and we'll go over how to do titles and stuff?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, good. Yeah, it'd be cool. If not, we need to schedule a day later this week. I'd like to have it done by the end of the week for them. But the more we can get done today, the better. So are you good to work?
I really just need to leave at 4, but
It's 1.
yeah.
Okay. We can probably spend an hour later. In fact, what I'd kind of like is to send and email you this project as it is now, and then show you the basics of how to do titles, and then let you try it, you know? So we don't have to go through and do all the titles ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah, that'd
know?
be good.
Or I mean, all of them together. You can probably do a lot of them after I kind of set the project up and show you how. So, okay, cool. Let's do that. I need to get something to eat, and let's take a little break. And then it's 1. So should we get back on it too?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, cool. Talk soon.
Okay, see ya.
All right, bye.